how is everybody doing today? I want to talk about a very much talked about car that is on everybody's minds and filling each other's Facebook feeds. And that, of course, is the MK5 Supra. Now, a lot of the original Mark IV fanboys, owners, I don't know what you want to call them, are very disappointed with the car. Now, I probably fall more into that category than anything else. I've had 7 Supras and I absolutely love the 2JZ and I love what the car can do in factory form. So I guess I want to break down what's good about the Mark V, what's bad about the Mark V, and my overall opinion. So let's go with what's good with the Mark V. Well, it's an eye catcher. The car looks great. I think it looks great. I've heard many people say they think it looks great. I've watched a couple of my friends actually sit in the car, be around the car, and when the camera is up close, it looks great. The humps on the roof, a lot of people didn't like. I think it adds race car to the car. I love the rear duckbill. Overall, I think the car looks fantastic. The one thing that I disagree, I personally think they should have left the Supra symbol the same or changed it completely, because the Supra symbol now looks like they just redid the old one with a fat marker or something. It's just like less detail. So aesthetically, it's a beautiful looking car, don't get me wrong. But aesthetically, it still doesn't represent a Supra to me. There's really nothing that carried over from the Mark IV into the Mark V besides the long nose and the short tail. That's really it. It doesn't have a wing. The duckbill's nice, but it still doesn't represent the Supra spoiler. The car itself dimensionally is smaller than the Mark IV. It's 4 inches shorter, 4 inches narrower, I think. So aesthetically, it's a nice car. I can't draw the picture from the Mark IV to the Mark V. That's just me. Some people might. Performance-wise, it's an inline-6 turbo, BMW drivetrain, BMW electronics, rear-wheel drive, not offered in a manual. The only thing performance-wise at that car, in my opinion, holds true to the Mark IV is an inline-6 and is boosted. I personally don't know the limits of the performance side of the Mark V. I know that from what I hear, you know, it has huge potential, and I don't know how far the reliability matches up with the potential. The Mark IV has massive potential, and it's reliable up until 900 horsepower. For the most part, it's reliable. Can that be said about the Mark V? I have no idea. I don't know much about BMW, as stated. But the problem I have when it comes down to it is that the Mark V only produces 335 horsepower. That is 15 more horsepower on paper than a Mark IV Supra. The reason I have a problem with that is because Toyota's minivan lineup almost has the same horsepower. Toyota's Camrys have more horsepower. Toyota's flagship car, arguably the best car, road car that ever came out of Toyota, is performing on a lower level power-wise than a Camry and a minivan. Do you not see where is the, the problem is right there. Where's the correlation to the Mark IV in that respect? This car was supposed to come out and compete with, it's hard to say, because the Mark IV, the potential is so big. When it came out, the Mark IV is probably meant to compete with all the touring cars. 300ZX, RX-7 FD, that sort of thing. And the Mustang and the Vet. So this one you'd think is supposed to come out, compete with at least the 370Z. It has less horsepower than the 370Z. I think it still outperforms it, but still the power is under. And the Mustangs, the Camaros, now they're really heavy cars, but power-wise, the Mustang and Camaros are well over 400 horsepower. I think that if Toyota wanted to hit the mark with the Mark 5, no pun intended there, that it should have came out with a 500 horsepower, car that was ready to hit the Nürburgring and do some damage on some other cars. So at the end of the day, it's a nice car. I think that it has the looks. I think that it can have the performance, but I don't think it is a Supra. I don't think it relates to a Supra. I don't think it represents what a Supra is. The only thing that represents what a Supra is on that car is the fat markered out Supra that, in my opinion, they should have just did a new one or kept the Mark IV emblem. Would I buy one? I think it depends what it'll be. MSRP. I know the MSRP has been stated, but you still got things like exchange rate, all that jazz. In Canada, I'm guessing it'll be about $70,000. What can you buy in Canada for $70,000? A lot. Right now, you can buy lightly used GTRs that would do circles around a stock Mark 5 Supra. You have Shelby GT350Rs that would do circles around the new Supra. So what it comes down to is, are you a diehard Supra person? And if you are, do you want the BMW drivetrain, or do you want the 4-cylinder that has less power than the BRZ or the FRS and swap a 2J in it? I mean, there's so many. When the car actually comes out and it's on the ground and you can look at it, you can touch it, you can understand what's it going to take to put a 2J in it, you're spending a lot of money on a car just to throw a 20-year-old engine, even though the engine is phenomenal. You're spending a lot of money on a car just to throw a 20, 30-year-old engine and the technology in a brand new car. And who knows if it'll match up to the BMW electrical system. That's all up in the air. So it begs the question, would you buy it just to have a Mark 5 Supra? I personally don't think I would. The time's coming up for me to buy a new, when the Supra's done, I'm probably going to purchase a new/newish car, and this won't be on the radar because I'm going to buy it 70 grand, and I'm going to be slower than our 2018 Focus RS. The RS has 350 horse, 350 foot-pounds of torque, and 4 or 5 years down the road when things start breaking, how much is it going to cost to maintain that thing? The timing belt is at the back of the engine rather than the front, so that's probably drop the subframe or take the engine out to change the timing chain, not belt. So there's just a lot of red flags. It's really, really too bad that Toyota didn't go over and above to put their own engine in that car, because I would be all over it. I would be one of the first ones to the dealership to put a deposit down on a brand new 3JZ Supra. And I'm sure a lot of you can attest to that as well. So that's my final thoughts on the Mark V. I'd really, really, really like to know what everyone's thoughts are. It's been flooding our Instagram. It's been flooding our Facebooks. And my general consensus from everybody is that it's a piece of shit. So I'm curious what anyone who watches this, what do you think of the new Mark V Supra? Question 1. Question 2, if you had, let's say, $70,000 in the bank, which is what it'll probably cost, would you buy a Mark V Supra? And if so, why? That's all I have for now. I hope everybody enjoyed this video. And if you have not already, give the video a thumbs up. Obviously, like it and subscribe. All right? Peace.